about an incident that happened on October 15th. That was 2 weeks before he signed with the Bucs. Brown allegedly destroyed a surveillance camera and threw his bicycle at a security guard shack in his Hollywood, Florida gated community. Max, should the NFL discipline Brown for this?
I don't know what to do with Antonio Brown anymore. I said last year at a certain point, or maybe this was 2 years ago already, I don't remember, when all the trouble, it kept getting into trouble, I guess this last year, he may have a mental health issue. That's what it seems to me. He's emotionally disturbed in some way. And you can't say that lightly, but it seemed that way. That's actually giving him the benefit of the doubt, right? When someone misbehaves that way or behaves in the way he has. And then it occurred to me over time, the idea of having a mental health issue and being a jerk, those two ideas are not mutually exclusive. The idea that you could have a mental health issue, that you could be a jerk, and that you could maybe just not be very smart. Also, those are not mutually exclusive. It's possible to be any one of those three without the other two, or without one of the other two, but it's also possible to be all three. Mm-hmm. The more I see Antonio Brown's behavior, the more I wonder if it's just all three. Stephen A.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, to me, if the NFL were not aware of this, that's an indictment against Antonio Brown. And the reason that's an indictment against Antonio Brown is that eventually they would find out. So why would you try to keep it from them? It just provides that much more fodder for you to look at him with a raised eyebrow. You already know that at times it appears like he doesn't have all his faculties in order because of some of the senseless things that he does. We won't even get into the legal situations that he's created for himself. Remember him literally videotaping himself cursing out law enforcement officials in Florida and doing the things that he's done. We know that he's taped conversations secretly with Coach John Gruden. We know that he's revealed private text messages between him and former teammates. We know that he's called out an owner knowing that you needed that owner to approve you keeping your job. We also know that he could have shut up for 4 days and guaranteed himself $29 million. And he couldn't do that, which definitely lends itself towards you believing he's got a screw loose somewhere. The bottom line is this, though. Some of it is malicious, and it is one thing when you're hurting yourself. It's another thing when you're not hesitant at all to hurt other people. If this is one of those situations where, it was just self-inflicted wounds, that would be one thing. Mm-hmm. But if you're behaving erratically and it's having a detrimental effect on other people, and that was something that you kept from the NFL, knowing that this would ultimately rear its ugly head, I don't know how smart that was. I'm not going to indict him for it because he's in the league. He's back in the league now. We wish him nothing but the best. We hope that he can behave himself, act accordingly, and just be the great football player that he is. I just don't know what to make of it because we don't have all the details. I would tell you that if he's in the news for anything other than his play on the football field, it is almost never a good thing for him.
It just never ends, though, Stephen A. Every time you think, because you hope to see the best in people, right? And we all love a story. I think it's well known at this point, the American culture, we like to build people up. You have an idol, we like to tear them down because, after all, we're all just human, and we like to see them rise up again. And so we keep waiting for Antonio Brown's behavior to suggest in some way that he's getting better, right? That he's getting healthier mentally and emotionally, that he's being less of a jerk, that he's behaving in a way that indicates that he's smartening up. And, always there seems to leak out in the news more stuff that says no, still no. The answer is no.
Yeah, well, the Homeowners Association president said they decided not to press charges against Brown for all this, but still something that the receiver should have told the NFL before his reinstatement. So we'll see what happens if there is, in fact, any disciplinary action. All right, guys, more First Take on the way. We're sticking with the NFL. Drew Brees is out for Sunday against the Falcons. So what should we expect from Jameis Winston under center? One of these guys says a more explosive offense. And James Harden has made it known that he wants to go to Brooklyn, but who has more leverage here, Harden or the Rockets? Perk joins us for that debate as First Take rolls on.
Brees is hurt. The Saints don't care that Drew Brees is hurt. We watched them play last year with Teddy Bridgewater. We've been waiting on this defense to take that next step, waiting on the defense to show us that they are championship level. Did you watch that game against Tom Brady and them? Not the Buccaneers, Tom Brady and them. They've assembled all these guys. Antonio Brown is back. Mike Evans is so good. Mike Evans was on the front of a milk carton fooling around with Marshawn Lattimore. Janoris Jenkins is balling. Malcolm Jenkins has gotten 2 picks in the last 2 games. And Cam Jordan is the most underrated rusher in football. And now they got Jameis Winston. You don't know what they're going to do. They can add an explosive pass game, and now we can fix Jameis. He don't have to turn it over, and that rolls me right into number 2, who is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I've been keeping this terrible towel here until I can put them at number 1. Well, actually, I got 6 of them. I rotate them out, and I wash them because it's COVID, and you quarantine, and you can't keep using things over and over again, though I love Myron Cope and what he did for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting better and better each week. The last 3 weeks, Ben Roethlisberger's played at an MVP level. I think we might start mentioning him in that conversation. Maybe we just want to. 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They also have the coach of the year. We know that the standard is the standard. We know that excuses build monuments of nothingness, and there are tools of the incompetent. We also know no matter what, it's the next man up. But the next man up is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I see it. They're 7-1, RC. They lost to the Raiders. I don't give a dang. They got Patrick Mahomes. As long as they got Patrick Mahomes, they gonna probably be my number 1. He is the best doing it. Defense coming around, turning the football over. They got the landlord on the other side. That's right, Tyrann Mathieu. You know you balling when you go from the honey badger who has to live outside and fend for himself, and now you the landlord. You done got so rich, became so big time, you own the dang building. And that's who the Kansas City Chiefs are. They own the dang building. It's the Kansas City Chiefs against the field. Not just the field in the AFC, the entire field. But when you got a quarterback that can throw the whole field, you ain't even tripping.
All right, RC, outstanding with your top 5. But before we go, earlier today, what you were doing, explain your tweets, you said, quote, I'm a firm believer that specialists are not football players, even Pat McAfee. Oh, well, Pat McAfee has responded on Twitter. There he is. He's looking for you. Oh, he sees you.
Hey, I'm still here, Pat. I'm still here.
He sees you. I have a feeling you'll be getting a ring from him a little bit later, and maybe you guys can work it out on the air. Wonderful work with that. Wonderful work, everybody, for getting up with us here. We'll see you back at Better Than Ever tomorrow. First Take starts now.
Go. Ha-ha! You know what time it is. James Harden in Brooklyn. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are really trying to bring a big 3 to Brooklyn, New York. Also, the NBA draft is tonight. What are the Knicks going to do? What are the Lakers going to do? What are the Golden State Warriors going to do with the number 2 overall pick? Who's going to be number 1? And oh, by the way, Russell Wilson versus Kyler Murray. That's Thursday night. But damn it, we so hyped about that. We going to talk about it a day beforehand. All that and more. Your boys, the crew, is in the house. Along with our girl Charlie, of course. Stay tuned. First Take's in the house. It's time. Let's get it.
Whether it's can't play defense or he doesn't pass the ball or he's not a winner, I hear it all. I don't pay attention to it.
Where do you think you rank among the NBA's best players right now?
I feel like I'm the best player.
Put up the numbers, people trying to say they love it. He's unstoppable. Feel like the world against me got me going even harder. Take off like a rocket, I'm a sniper like I'm Harden.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. How you doing? It is draft day. This is First Take. We got the crew in the house. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, even Jay Williams here to talk a little bit of ball. And
what's Jay know about the draft?
I know a little bit, little something. All right, guys, we're going to start with James Harden because it is a big story. And this is how you know the man does not want to stay in Houston. James Harden turned down becoming